Coming up on Sports Paws, Quinnipiac gets its first MAAC title.
And the men's ice hockey team has a busy weekend with Brown and Yale.
And basketball is back at the TD Bank Sports Center.
All that and more coming up on Sports Paws.
Hello everyone and welcome to Sports Paws. I'm Jordan Siegler.
And I'm Mark Spillane, and we're here to recap the week of Quinnipiac sports that just passed. And Jordan, what a week it was.
Absolutely, Mark. It was an extremely busy week. The men's and women's basketball teams began their seasons.
And the men's ice hockey team had 2 games at home, including the always anticipated Heroes Hat game against Yale.
But don't forget, the field hockey team went down to Ryder for the MAAC Championships. But before we see how they did, it's worth noting that this year marks a first for the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. It is the first year that field hockey is a sponsored sport for the conference. This also makes the 2013 tournament the first MAAC Field Hockey Championships.
And following a 12-6 regular season, the playoff stage was set for Quinnipiac field hockey. Second-seeded QU squared off with third-seeded Bryant in the MAAC Championship semifinal on Friday with a chance to advance to the title game. Let's check it out. Quinnipiac and Bryant, as I mentioned, 2-seed versus 3-seed down at Ben Cohen Field at Ryder in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Quinnipiac getting ready, the Bulldogs of Bryant getting ready. First half we go. Krista Romano's going to put the ball in play. Stopped there by Megan McCullough. She's going to drop it off for Osantish, who gets it over to Jenelise Taylor. Back to Osantish, and she fires one in. Just like that, the Bobcats take an early 1-0 lead. Straight to the second half. 1-0 Bobcats in front. Danielle Allen with a nice play. Flips it around, goes to the backhand, knocks it into the cage. Bobcats now up 2-0. Just 4 minutes later, Allen again. She comes in, throws it in front after a loose ball. Sits there for a moment. She pushes it through. Quinnipiac leading 3-0. Bryant takes a timeout here to try to regroup, but it's not going to matter. Another loose ball in front, and it's Jess Rusin who knocks it in. Her 16th goal and 37th point on the year. And one last attempt by Bryant. Rosie Bird fires a shot wide. Not going to work. Bobcats going to the championship game.
And so after the long season, only one game remained between the Quinnipiac field hockey team and a MAAC championship. A win would make the team both the first MAAC field hockey champions and the first MAAC champions in Quinnipiac history. But before any of that, the team had to beat the Robert Morris Colonials. Quinnipiac facing off against Robert Morris in the MAAC Championship game after their win over Ryder. The team's coming out here before the game, and now we're going to jump into the first half. It's Robert Morris's Jamie Hartley with the quick shot here, and it goes wide. Great defense there by Krista Romano, keeping the ball out of the net. But now it's Quinnipiac's possession, and it's Romano passing it up to Jess Rusin, who can't handle the pass, and it's kicked away by goalie Erin McKenzie. Now it's Quinnipiac again. Rusin has it again. She's going to be pushed around in the circle, and she's going to lose control of it. But Quinnipiac gets a penalty stroke, and it's Amanda Danziger. She shoots and scores, and Quinnipiac takes the 1-0 lead in the championship game. Now, going to the second half, it's Hartley for Robert Morris. She's going to pass it to Jess Brown. Brown with it, and Megan Conaboy kicks it away. And there's the men's soccer team. They're supporting the field hockey team before their game against Ryder, but we'll get to that later in the show. And here's one more chance for Robert Morris. They can't make the comeback. Quinnipiac wins the 2013 MAAC Championship. The men's soccer team runs on the field to celebrate with the team, and here is the bath for Becca Main for winning the championship. And you're going to see here Amanda Danziger. She's going to be accepting the tournament MVP award. She had the lone goal in the championship game. The Bobcats will take one last picture with the banner and their trophy. They are MAAC champions. Here is Tom Albanese after the game.
To be a first in anything, to be, the first year actually that they're sponsoring field hockey, which we're so grateful the MAAC stepped up to do that, to be the first one at Quinnipiac to win a MAAC title, to be the first one to win a regular season, first go down in history because you're making memories and you're making lifetime memories. So for us, this is something you never ever forget, especially for a coach who, you measure your job in wins and losses. It's something that's really going to go down as very important and special to me.
Our entire goal was to get here, to get to this point. We wanted a MAAC championship. We said it from the beginning that we were just going to do everything it took to get here, and we've been working our little butts off every day of the season since then. I feel like everybody leads through example, and we all bring it out to the field. We all want to play well together, so we all lead well by ourselves. Everyone steps up when we need to step up, and today is a perfect example of that. We had great defense today. Even our forwards were making great interceptions, and I think that's really helped to push us here. We had a pep talk in our locker room today about how life is all about creating these moments that you're never going to forget. And for us, even before the game started, today was a game that we were never going to forget.
The field hockey team will ride their MAAC championship to the 2013 NCAA Field Hockey Championships. The Bobcats will play in a playing game on Wednesday against American University. The winner of this game will play #1 ranked Maryland in the first round.
The Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team used 2 victories last weekend versus Colgate and Cornell to continue their climb up the national rankings. The Bobcats jumped to #5 in last week's USCHO.com poll. They remained the top-ranked ECAC squad as Yale moved up to 9th. RPI remained at number 10, Cornell dropped to 15th, and Clarkson climbed to 16th. Minnesota remained the unanimous #1 team.
With the men's ice hockey team about to embark on a big weekend, the team received a blow. Head coach Rand Pecknold announced on Tuesday that freshman forward Peter Quenneville had quit the team and withdrawn from the university. Quenneville had 4 assists in 5 games while playing on the first line with the Jones brothers, before an injury kept him out for the last 4 games. Coach Pecknold had this to say on Quenneville, quote, "We wish Peter all the best as he moves on. Peter wants to focus only on hockey, and here at Quinnipiac University, our players are committed to excellence in both hockey and academics. We were surprised by his decision to leave," end quote. The circumstances of his departure is unknown. However, it is known that Quenneville will now play for the Brandon Wheat Kings with his brother, John Quenneville.
Well, you know, Jordan, despite the loss of Quenneville, QU got some good news last week as they swept the weekly ECAC awards. Connor Jones received Player of the Week honors for his 3 goals and 1 assist in the 2 victories over Colgate and Cornell. He also became just the 20th player in program history to cross the 100 career point plateau. Freshman forward Sam Annis earned the Rookie of the Week award for his 5 points in last week's victories, and sophomore goaltender Michael Gartig won Goaltender of the Week for his 2 wins, including his first career shutout versus Cornell.
Last year, the men's ice hockey team won 30 games. However, none of those wins came against Brown. The Bobcats took on the Bears twice throughout the regular season, with both games ending in ties. The Bears also ended Quinnipiac's run at the ECAC title last season in the semifinals with a 4-0 win. Brown is the only ECAC team the Bobcats did not beat last season, but that was last year. Now it's a new season. The men's ice hockey team getting ready to play Brown up at the High Point Solutions Arena on Friday night. Bobcats trying to extend a winning streak. And here you see Brown goalie Marco DeFilippo. He's looking to end that win streak. Now we're going to jump to the first period, roughly 8 minutes left in the period. Jordan Samuels-Thomas, he's going to get tossed from the faceoff. He's got some words for the referee, but he's replaced by Bryce Van Braben. Van Braben's going to win the faceoff, and the puck goes to Corey Hibbler, and Hibbler scores on a quick shot. The captain puts the Bobcats up 1-0. Seconds ticking away in the first period, and it's going to be Sam Annis getting the puck in the corner. He sends it over to Connor Clifton. Clifton steps up, he shoots, he scores, and the Bobcats go up 2-0. Now before we go to the third period, let's see what Michael Gartig had to say about Brown's late game approach.
I read something about them scoring a majority of their goals in the third period, so I knew that they were going to come out hard. And I mean, I go into every period with the same mindset, but knowing that they have scored more goals in the third, it obviously, makes my senses a little more sharp.
Now let's go to the third period, and Gartig's going to face a few shots here from Brown. And here's what comes one shot here. He makes one save, and here comes the second, and he makes another save. The puck's going to be loose in the zone, and Preisbeck is not going to be able to get it for Brown, and the Bobcats survive the threat. The score remains 2-0. Now with the game winding down, Matt Pekka passes it up to Colin Jones, and Jones is going to score the empty netter from the blue line. That puts the Bobcats up 3-0, and they would go on to win by that score.
It's time for us to step aside for a quick break, but we've got more men's ice hockey and lots of basketball ahead. We'll recap the Heroes Hat game and look at the women's basketball team game against North Carolina A&T in round 1 of the preseason WNIT, and the game versus Hartford for the men's team in the Connecticut 6. Stay with us.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Last year saw Quinnipiac's rise to the top of the college hockey world. However, the team failed to win the big one. The Bobcats fell to crosstown rival Yale in the national championship game 4-0. This weekend marked the first time the two teams would face off since that game. I caught up with some of the players earlier in the week to get their thoughts on the upcoming game.
When the time comes Saturday morning, they're going to know. I mean, everyone's going to know that it's something special, and obviously we can't make up for the fact that we lost the national championship game on a game in November. But certainly there's a little bit of extra juice there.
Really excited. I mean, last year I was able to watch one of the games that was on NBC, and so I saw what the atmosphere was like here, and obviously TV doesn't compare to what it was, I'm sure, but I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Everyone knows what happened. I mean, it was brutal. I mean, it still hurts, so it's just a little more motivation, I think, for everybody.
Well, yeah, the Yale game's always a big game, so it's, everyone's always excited for it, and the week of practice leading up to it is always a good one, but obviously, this game has a little bit more pull behind it, and we haven't forgot. We definitely haven't forgot what happened last year, and even though we're putting that behind us, we definitely want to show everyone that we deserved better last year, and definitely send a message to Yale that it's going to be a long season, and they're going to have to come and catch us. So.
Well, Jordan, coming off of that 3-0 victory Friday night versus the Bears, the Bobcats were back on the ice for the 12th annual Heroes Hat game versus the 9th-ranked Yale Bulldogs. Let's see how this rivalry tilt played out. 5th-ranked Bobcats, 9th-ranked Yale Bulldogs, 12th annual Heroes Hat game. We'll jump right into the first period. Quinnipiac is going to strike first. There's a loose puck in the corner. Kellen Jones goes after it, kicks out to Sam Annis, who puts a shot on net. Save made by Lyon. It comes back to Annis, who pushes it through for the early goal for the Bobcats. Just under a minute to go there in the first period. Quinnipiac goes to the locker room up 1-0. Second period now. Michael Gartig's actually going to get knocked out of the net here, as you'll see, on a shot by Kenny Agostino. And Connor Jones bursts through to save it for the Bobcats. Back the other way now. Connor Clifton dishes it off to Jordan Samuels-Thomas, who punches one in, and the Bobcats take the 2-0 lead halfway through the second period. But Yale would respond on the power play. Ryan Obukowski with the bomb one-timer shot, and just like that, Yale cuts the lead to 1. 3 minutes later, Frankie DiChiara loose in front, a puck there that he punches past Gartig, and we're tied at 2. 22 seconds later now, Yale coming in again. Another loose puck. Mike Doherty puts it in, and just like that, the Bulldogs lead by 1. The Bobcats are stunned, but in the third period, they would respond. And it's Travis St. Dennis who finds Matt Pekka with an easy one-timer on an open net. Alex Lyon not ready for that one. Bobcats tied at 3. Going into overtime, Quinnipiac really controlled the play, but they took a penalty late. They're able to just kill off the 15 seconds or so of it. This is how the game would end. In a 3-3 ties, you see Pekka diving for that one. Bobcats retain the Heroes hat after winning last year. Quinnipiac 3, Yale 3. Here's Coach Pecknold after the tie.
I thought that was a great college hockey game tonight. Great atmosphere. Just actually an outstanding atmosphere, and that's why kids go the college hockey route, to play in environments like this. As far as the game goes, it's a little bittersweet. Like I'm happy we came back and tied it to get the point and keep the Heroes hat, but certainly disappointed we didn't win. I thought we played well enough to win tonight.
And now to break down the 3-3 tie between Quinnipiac and Yale, we bring in Colin Babcock. Colin, what do you got for us?
Well, thanks a lot, Mark. And I'm going to take you through what happened here at the scoring throughout the game. So we're going to take a look at Quinnipiac's first goal of the game. What's going to happen is the Bobcats are going to break it out. And here we got Sam Annis traveling down. Pause it right here. So we got Sam Annis coming down right here, the right wing. He's going to take the puck, force this defenseman to play him. But take a look. We got Kellen Jones. He's going to drive this lane. And that's going to force this defenseman to step up and play him. We're just going to open up this lane out here for Connor to come in backside on the goalie. Let's see how that plays out. Unfortunately, though, the Yale defenders, they're going to get back, they're going to back check, and they're going to break things up, and it's not going to go as planned for the Bobcats. Anyway, Sam Annis is going to dump it down, and he gets the puck right here. Now, he's got several options. He's got two main options on this play. One, he's looking at the net, and he can fire off a good shot on the net, get a rebound chance here for Connor attacking, or what he can do is he can go back down here and hit Kellen, who's on the goal line, and can look for another diagonal option, maybe back to Connor, as the Jones twins work so well together. However, he's going to take that shot on goal and open up things for his line mates. Takes a shot on goal. Now pause it. Sorry about that. Let me bring that back just a tiny bit. Right there. And we're going to pause it right here. Now, one of the things that makes Sam Annis so good for this Bobcats team is for who he's playing with the Jones twins. Right here, you see Kellen with the puck. And he's got 3 Yale defenders on him. Look at this. 1, 2, and 3. And how about where's the goalie? He's right here, way out of position, but he's focused on Connor. So what's that do? It opens up this lane, this passing lane that Sam Annis is going to step into, and he's going to easily bury that puck in the open net. And the Bobcats are going to take the lead right there, 1-0 early on in the game. But Yale, however, they're going to get it back, and they score 3 goals in a span of 4 minutes, and this first one coming on the power play. And what happens here, let me bring it back just a tiny bit. What happens here is the Bobcats lead the ECAC in their power play kill, and they've been great with that. But what's going to happen here, this Bobcat defender, he's late on stepping up to the play, opens up this passing lane for the Yale defender, over to Ryan Obenkowski, and he just absolutely roofs it by Michael Garteg. Doesn't have a chance. It goes bar down. Yale, that's their first goal. They go on to score 2 more after that, and all of a sudden, the energy was out of the crowd. It was Yale's game, up 3-2. But hey, now third period, here we're going to go. Bobcats now, take a look at this. Travis St. Dennis gets a pass from Dan Federico, and he's right here behind the cage. He's looking at who to pass to. He's keeping his head up because he knows someone might be screaming back door. Meanwhile, we got a Bobcat offender crashing here. Look at all these 4 defenders of Yale. What are they all doing? They're all standing around protecting the slot, and they're not picking up bodies, and they're not picking up sticks. Anyway, Travis St. Dennis, as I mentioned, watching this path. We're going to see how this plays out. And pause it right here. Look at this goaltender. Where's his vision? He's totally cheated to cover this post, just in case Travis St. Dennis might wrap it around. So he's cheating. These defenders were totally looking this way. His butt's over here. He's out of position, and that opens up this lane for the back diagonal pass for Matthew Pekka to step up and bury it into the open net. Right there, the Bobcats tie it up at 3. However, they do not get any luck in the overtime. The game ends in a 3-3 draw.
Thank you, Colin. Now, Mark, we're going to take a look at the ECAC standings after the weekend. The Bobcats currently sit atop the standings with 7 points. Behind them is a 5-way tie for second place, which includes the Yale Bulldogs. Quinnipiac will face Harvard on Friday night and will welcome in last place Dartmouth on Saturday. The men's ice hockey team wasn't the only team to make the NCAA tournament last year. The women's basketball team also reached the big dance after a dominant season. The team finished the year 30-3 overall and was undefeated in conference play, on their way to an NEC title. The Bobcats lost to Maryland in the first round of the tournament. The team returns most of their key players, including preseason All-MAAC third-teamers Brittany McQuaid and Jasmine Martin. However, the team lost guard Felicia Barron after she graduated.
And the Bobcats women's basketball team that you just mentioned, Jordan, got its own season started over the weekend. The Bobcats hosted North Carolina A&T in the first round of the preseason WNIT. With a win, Quinnipiac would advance to play the winner of Louisville and Loyola Chicago in round 2. Let's go check it out. Quinnipiac Bobcats, North Carolina A&T Aggies at Lender Court. First game of the year for Quinnipiac, raising 3 banners from last year's historic season. First half we go. Ellen Cannon's going to push it over to Abshire, and she brings it up the right side, finds Jasmine Martin in the corner, who knocks down the 3. Keep an eye on her during this entire highlight here, Jordan. That would be the theme, 3-pointers from Martin. Bobcats again in the offensive zone. Guastella finds Martin again with the 3, knocks it down. I think she's going for the record of most 3-pointers made in a 1.5-minute highlight here, Jordan. We'll see. This time it's Sam Guastella with a 3-pointer. Bobcats extending the lead 9-3 in the first half. A few plays later, Abshire to Cannon, to Martin again, this time from the top of the 3-point line, knocks it down. Bobcats up 14-7. still trying to extend the lead, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Another three. Oh, just kidding. This time it's just two for Martin. She goes in with a left-handed layup, drops it in. We'll go to the second half now. Bobcats in full command. A&T trying to battle back, however. Adriana Nazario passes it out to Tracy King, who knocks down her own three-pointer, but the Bobcats still had a firm lead, and just a few minutes later, Nikolai Ostergaard puts one in. Bobcats lead 50-32, and at the end of the game, why not, one last time, Jasmine Martin knocks down a three. She would have 22 points, 12 for 12 from the field, missed just one free throw on the day. Bobcats win 77-63.
Jasmine Martin, again, just led the way, hitting those threes, made everyone breathe a lot easier, settle right into a real nice offensive, defensive game. And really, for the most part, for the first 40 minutes of the season, I thought we looked pretty sharp, executed well, played really good D, and actually did come up. I think we outworked them a little by a few on the boards. So for the first 40 minutes of this campaign, I'm really pleased.
Wow, Jasmine Martin was red hot in that game. We now bring in our analyst, Arthur Lane, to talk about it.
Well, the team couldn't have shot much better than they did in the first half of Friday's game. And Jasmine Martin couldn't have played much better than she did in the first half. I thought the team looked like they were in midseason form. They did turn over the ball 21 times, which is just a small concern of mine. They certainly won't be able to turn it over 21 times and expect to win over last year's runner-up in Louisville. The Cardinals returned their top 4 scorers from a year ago and certainly look poised to make another run in March. The Bobcats will have to limit their opportunities by not turning the ball over, controlling the clock, and shooting as well as they did Friday if they want to be competitive. Another problem the Bobcats will have is size difference. We saw this team have a hard time with Maryland last year because of the Terp size. The Gold Rush will have to be perfect to pull off the upset, but crazier things have happened. Back to you guys.
With the victory, the Bobcats advanced to play the Louisville Cardinals at the KFC Yum Center. Yes, the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky. You can't make this stuff up, Jordan. But last year, the Cardinals advanced to the national championship game before falling to Gino Auriemma and the UConn Huskies. If the Bobcats pull off the upset, they will advance to the third round of the tournament to play the winner of St. Joseph's and LSU.
We're not done yet here, folks. Up next on Sports Paws, the men's basketball team heads to Bridgeport to start their season at the annual Connecticut Six Classic. We'll also update you on how the men's soccer team did as they wrap up the regular season on the road. We'll be right back on Sports Paws.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken with cheese for just over $4, giant cheesesteak subs, and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Quinnipiac men's basketball's final season in the Northeast Conference a year ago was a bumpy one. The Bobcats finished with a 15-16 record and a 91-83 loss in the NEC tournament to eventual champion LIU Brooklyn. Quinnipiac actually had a 7-point lead with just over 6 minutes to play in the game, but they let the lead slip away, and it ended the Bobcats season.
But it's a new year now, Mark, for the Bobcats, and Tom Moore took his squad down to Bridgeport for the Connecticut Six Classic to take on the Hartford Hawks. The Bobcats defeated Hartford at this same tournament to start last season. Could they do it again? Bobcats taking on Hartford at the Webster Bank Arena in Bridgeport. As you see here, the team warming up for their game against Hartford. Early on in the first half, it's going to be forward Mark Wakoma for Hartford working on freshman A.J. Sunbury. He's going to get around Sunbury, the layup, and it's good. Hawks out to an early 10-7 lead. Midway through the first half, it's Hawks guard Yolonzo Moore the second, and he pulls up for the three-pointer, and it's good. And the Hawks out now to a 20-9 lead. Now the pass, it's picked off by another freshman, Kasim Chandler. Chandler takes it, passes to Usman Drame down low for the slam, and the Bobcats close the deficit 26-18. Hawks lead. Now it's Wes Cole for Hartford, the drive, the layup, and it's good. Hawks now 38-27. And you're going to see here Tom Moore is extremely frustrated with his squad in the first half as the Hawks take a 42-31 lead into the second half. Now it's Evan Conti, the pass to Ike Addison down low, and A.J. Sumbry with the putback. The freshman, great play there. And the Bobcats now have a 52-47 lead. Now Kasim Chandler with another steal. He's going to take this one straight to the basket with the layup. And now the lead is 59-48 for the Bobcats. And now Yolonzo Moore the second with the three. And it's Zaid Hurst coming down with it. He's going to get fouled. And Hawks coach John Gallagher, he's upset with his team's performance in the second half. Zaid Hurst will hit one free throw here. And the second free throw there to ice the game. Bobcats win 82-77. Here's John Alba with more after the game.
The first 20 minutes of Saturday's Connecticut Six Classic were far from what Quinnipiac head coach Tom Moore expected.
I don't know that we could play with less purpose in the first half.
Quinnipiac allowed 15 first-half points to Hartford's Yolonzo Moore and found itself trailing by 11 at the break. But the second half saw the Bobcats break out with a 23-6 run that included 10 points from senior Ike Addison.
The start of the second half was good for us because we got our energy back. We started making more hustle plays, and we got back into the game.
Freshman Kasim Chandler and A.J. Sumbry both contributed double-digit points for Quinnipiac. Sumbry's putback dunk midway through the second half helped fuel the squad's rally.
He's got a calmness to him in the post that's really impressive for a freshman big guy. He rolled to the rim on that dunk. He did what he's supposed to do on that dunk. He didn't stay back and stay flat-footed. He just got to the rim.
It may have been a tale of two halves for Quinnipiac, but one player made the difference down the stretch. Zaid Hurst hit 2 free throws late and went 12 for 12 from the line, something he says his team has been aiming to improve on.
After every practice, we work on free throws. You know, we always working on it. We're always enforcing, becoming a better free throw percentage team. And so we're just always working on it.
Her 17 points paved the way for the 82-77 Quinnipiac win. And Coach Moore believes the junior's work ethic is the main reason.
He's the hardest working kid in our program on his game. So it's great to have a kid who works that hard on his game get rewarded by making those shots.
John Alba, Q30 Sports.
Ahead for the Bobcats is a trip to play LaSalle, the Explorers, that is, of LaSalle, on ESPN's nationally televised 24-hour tip-off marathon Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Then on Saturday, QU will come back to Hamden to play its home opener when Albany comes in. Tip-off will be at 2 p.m.
The men's soccer team wrapped up their regular season this week on the road. The team went to Siena on Wednesday where they beat the Saints 2-1 in a double overtime battle. The game-winning goal was delivered by junior Mashal Baker. Then on Saturday, the team went to Ryder. The Bobcats would outlast the Bronx in another double overtime game, winning 1-0. The game winner was scored by the team's leading scorer, Simon Hind. Quinnipiac finishes with a 7-1-2 conference record, earning them a share of the MAAC regular season championship. The team will take on the Iona Gales in the first round of the MAAC Championships.
And despite all the buzz around the men's ice hockey team this past weekend, the 7th-ranked Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team had a pair of games on the weekend as well. QU traveled to Brown on Friday night, defeated the Bears 3-1. The Bobcats outshot the Bears 45-9 as Kelly Babcock netted her 8th goal of the season and Chelsea Layden made 7 stops to earn the victory before giving way to backup Sydney Rossman. Quinnipiac then skated to a 0-0 tie with Yale at Ingalls Rink on Saturday night, despite outshooting the Bulldogs 44-27. The Bobcats are now 8-1, 8-1-3 overall.
The women's volleyball team played a pair of home matches this week. The first was against the Iona Gales. The Bobcats would fail to win a set against Iona, losing 3-0. The team then tried to pick up a win against the first-place Manhattan Jaspers. However, the team would fall once again to Manhattan, losing 3-1. Quinnipiac's MAAC record now falls to 3-13. The team will finish the regular season next week against Canisius and Niagara.
Well, that was one busy week, Jordan, but there's another packed week ahead of us.
That's right, Mark. This week there will be 5 games at the TD Bank Sports Center, so make sure you tune into Sports Paws again next week to hear about that.
But that's going to do it for us here today, but be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Q30 Sports. And what else, Jordan?
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/user/Q30TV. For Mark Spillane, I'm Jordan Siegler. Have a good one.